Hello, y'all. Welcome to another exciting episode of Wellbeing Tips for Healthy Eating. So, today I want to cover two things. One is a couple of studies I ran into recently. They have to do with COVID-19 and diet. So, that should be exciting. The other thing is how to increase the amount of healthy food you're eating in your diet. So, I'm going to give a tip for that, kind of a behavioral strategy for increasing the amount of good food. So, first, let's take a look at these studies. One study was published in the journal Nutrients last year, and here's what they found. It's pretty amazing. People who ate at least 500 grams or 18 ounces of fruits and veggies a day and about a third of an ounce of nuts, which is not very much, had an 86% lower risk of contracting COVID-19. What? That's amazing. I mean, an 86% risk of even getting COVID-19. I'm going to say it again. People who ate at least an average daily consumption of 18 ounces of fruits and veggies and just a third of an ounce or more of nuts had an 86% lower risk of contracting COVID-19. Wow, I'm amazed. I wish they would put this on the news now and again. The other study has to do with legumes, if you can imagine that. This study, which was published in the British Medical Journal, found that people who eat beans regularly had a lower symptoms of COVID-19. So this was a study of people who had contracted COVID-19, and the people who ate beans regularly had less symptom severity of COVID-19. So it's looking pretty good for the fruits and veggies and beans. Now I just want to talk about how to get yourself to eat more beans. For instance, or it could be any vegetable. If you want to eat more greens, or if you want to eat more mushrooms, or whatever. But in this case, I'm going to talk about beans. So, what if you don't like beans? This part is kind of for people who are not on the bean wagon yet, or you want to eat more beans but haven't managed to do it. So, you probably found out that habit change is difficult. I mean, we get into our daily routine, and it's very hard to break out of that. So, it turns out that changing your habits and creating permanent and lasting change happens by making small changes in thinking and behavior every day. So let me say that again, because this is super important. To create lasting change, you need to make small changes in thinking and behavior every day. People often get caught up and they want to make a big change. Like tomorrow, I'm going to start my whole food plant-based eating. I'm only going to eat whole plant foods starting tomorrow. But big change, overnight change almost never works. It almost never lasts. So I want you to think about making small changes every day. And after a year of small changes, then you actually have a big change, but you were able to maintain it. So, okay, let's get back to the beans. So let's say you're eating 0 beans right now. And in a year, you'd like to be eating a cup of beans a day, which is what I would recommend for most people. I want you to think about starting with a small amount, and that could be a half cup, or it might even be a quarter cup. It really depends on where you are. It depends on how your digestion handles it. If you eat a half cup of beans and you feel all bloated and crappy for the rest of the day, then that's too much. You should start with less. So, but for the purpose of this example, let's just start with a half cup. So this is going to be for a week. You're going to think in terms of a week. I'm going to try this experiment for 1 week and see how it goes. Think about what meal you would like to have your beans, and really what meal it's most likely that you'll eat the beans. So one time that I find is almost 100% likely that I will try something new is first thing in the morning, because I'm really hungry then. I haven't eaten for hours, and usually I've worked out, and now I'm really hungry. So if I was going to add something to my diet that I didn't really like and wasn't used to, I would do it first thing in the morning. So I would eat my beans, my half cup of beans first thing in the morning, and then eat the rest of my breakfast, whatever it is, whether it's fruit and oats or whatever it is. It doesn't matter if you're still eating croissants or egg McMuffins. Have your half cup of beans first, and then have whatever else you're going to have for breakfast, and try that for a week. And that's something you can remind yourself. Use some cognitive strategies. The second morning when you get up and you're like, ooh, I don't want beans, you can remind yourself, hey, I'm just trying this for a week. And after a week, if I don't want to do it anymore, I don't have to. And also, if you really didn't like it, you might consider backing off on the amount. Go from a half cup to a quarter cup. Let me just eat a quarter cup of beans, and then I'll reevaluate after a week. So, and then after a week, depending on how it went, you make adjustments. If you need, or ready to adjust up, or maybe change the meal time, like maybe you'd rather have your beans at lunch with your salad. That's what I do every day. I have a huge salad with beans. So then you might try adding in your beans there. So what could get in your way? The biggest thing that's going to get in your way is your mind. So you have to be prepared that your mind is probably going to say, "Ooh, I don't want beans. I think I'll have something else." So what are you going to do if that happens? Well, I would suggest reminding yourself, "Hey, it's only for a week. Let me try it for a week, and then I don't have to do it anymore if I don't want to." You might also remind yourself, if I want to make this change, it's going to be uncomfortable. It might be uncomfortable for a little while. Let me go ahead and eat the beans. Then I can enjoy the rest of my breakfast. So some other things that might get in your way, you might think like halfway through like day 3 or 4, you might think, "Hey, I've done really well for the last 3 days. I think I'll just give myself a break today." And that could get in your way, because I'm guessing that most of you have said that before. "Well, I've done so well. It's okay for me to take a break here." And then what happens? It spirals out of control, back to your normal eating habits. So that's the experiment for 1 week, and then reevaluate after the week and see where you want to take it. And I would love to hear how it goes for y'all. If you would leave me some responses in the comments below. And if you have ideas of other things you'd like to hear about on well-being tips for healthy eating, I would love to hear that. And I think that's it. Okay, bye y'all.